quarterback.
Oh, there's a goal.
Sorry folks, no sports ball today. Turns out it's my bye week. In the meantime, allow me to talk to you about the glories of SeatGeek. SeatGeek is an app that combines tickets from across the webosphere who are selling their seats in order for you to get the best possible price and enjoy the glories of sporting events. The app is pretty straightforward. There's a 1 to 100 score on tickets available. If it's red, that's no bueno. If it's green like the turf at the Superdome, then you pounce on that shit. You can even see a view from where you're sitting. It's never a good time to say no to live sports, and if you use the code word TREE, you get $20 off your first purchase. Who do you want your money going to? A fan who just wants to sell their tickets, or some overpriced schmuck like Spanos? Do not give your money to Spanos. SeatGeek is the way to go. You seriously thought I was gonna miss this week's festivities, didn't you? Time to dig on in. The Great Football Feast begins with two legendarily cursed franchises. It appears that the Lions will disappoint their fans once again, but there is hope for a good game. Detroit is storming back with a furious offensive showing in the fourth quarter. Terrible coaching and officiating be damned. The Vikings are looking to seal the game though. Maybe pigs will fly. Oh my god, it's actually happening. Unfortunately, like every good thing that may happen to Detroit, there's a catch. There was an offsides penalty, despite certain arguments. The celebrating was once again premature. To the pit of misery with you lot. Kindly re-emerge to be eliminated in a wildcard game on the road. If the last game was the feast, this game was the food coma. Absolute boredom, making us thankful for yet another blowout where neither team knew what the hell a touchdown was until the fourth quarter. There is one thing that has to be discussed. Dallas is fucking trash. Who knew that Elliott was literally carrying the team to relevance? A team that went 13-3 last year has suddenly lost the ability to move the ball forward and stop a floating napkin. Dak transformed into such an interception-happy captain checkdown that Alex Smith cringes in disgust. But according to Jerry Boy, everything is okay. We all just need to sing Kumbayas and everything is going to be alright, even though they made the Chargers look like the Patriots. Fuck you, Jerry. This game was the football equivalent of tryptophan. It put everyone to sleep. The Giants were as much of a train wreck offensively as they've been all year, with dropped passes aplenty, and the Redskins decided to imitate their brethren by being massacred by the Giants D for most of the game. Unfortunately, Dan Snyder's shitskins managed to do just enough to keep the Macaderp stank on track while the rest of us were passed out on our couches. Giants fans just wish they could be knocked out until February. I think we should have some respect for the crime scene and allow the police to finish their investigation. There was a brutal murder that took place, a bludgeoning by a juggernaut against an utterly hopeless squad. The things that died here include, but are not limited to, Bears hope, foolish optimism for the postseason, and any goodwill John Fox had left. You get a parting gift, though. A season-ending injury to one of your better defenders. More sacrifices to the football gods. More! The great Nathan Peterman experiment has ended mercifully. Tyrod Taylor has regained the reins of the Bills' offense. He did what was expected. For that damn break of a defense they've had, turns out you get back on track by playing an offense that couldn't move a paperweight. The Chiefs, you're a fucking disaster. The offense has vanished to another dimension. Alex Smith is back to being Alex Smith. Andy Reid has chosen to choke 2 months earlier than expected. I just want to go back to when the Chiefs were exciting and 5-0 again. Drinking season came early this year for Kansas City. If it's a rivalry game between two train wrecks that usually results in a blowout victory, is it even really a rivalry? With how cataclysmically awful the Browns have been as of late, this isn't all that impressive of an accomplishment. I don't think anyone in Cincy gave a shit either. Cleveland is just watching the Texans to see where their picks lie. It's honestly more entertaining for them. Another great rivalry game that turned into a rather decisive victory for the Falcons. Well, except that they almost choked it away. Almost. Atlanta managed to take that Millennium Falcon and walk over the crushed dreams of Bucs fans. Tampa Bay, I want you to be happy. So here's some vicarious joy for you. Greg Schiano is going to be head coach at Tennessee, so you can see them get destroyed in the SEC some more. So he's not going there because of the ghosts of Sandusky. Vols, you dodged yourself a gigantic bullet. Nothing to see here. The Patriots enter the gladiatorial arena against a bunch of bedwetters and send out the Lions. New England should have some clear sailing to the #1 seed, considering how much they own the rest of the teams on their schedule, but Miami has had enough misery for once in their lives. How about the Hurricanes? They're the real football team down there. How in the literal fuck do you lose to Pitt? By God, it's happening. The Panthers are playing down to their competition again and are about to thrust the Jets into the AFC playoff picture. Think about it, the Jets in the playoffs. Wait, right, this is the Jets. They can have no good things whatsoever. They choose to choke away another winnable game thanks to dropped passes, a questionable replay call, and a blown fourth quarter lead. Carolina escapes with yet another ugly victory. Bring out your dead, New York. There are plenty of them. This is what we call one of those games that, unfortunately, somebody had to win. An awfully played and executed shitshow on both offenses. Terrible decision-making, brutal turnovers. It was here for the masochists in all of us. The Titans somehow pulled out a W despite flagellating themselves for the sin of mediocrity. Now, only if the Colts could do that for what they did to Luck. Or for Pagano. I am one of the people that believes the anthem protests have nothing to do with declining attendance and TV ratings for the NFL. Personally, it's because of contests like this. A team trying to dig a mass grave for its injured playing down to one of the worst teams in the league. If Seattle were against a real team, they would have lost handily. Sometimes you have to be lucky to make it to January, though. The slow-motion plane crash that is the Broncos season trudges on with yet another change at QB. The comedic Osweiler show has been canceled for the return of the Paxton Lynch Hour. So far, ratings do not look good. Denver's offense stalled out under his watch. Again. And the defense was hung out to dry by a struggling Raiders squad. The football gods showed mercy on Denver by injuring Paxton, and Simeon returned, performing valiantly, but it was too little too late. To think that Oakland's had a terrible season where the D coordinator gets fired, yet can still win the AFC West. Damn. I knew there was a reason why I can't take the Jags seriously, despite that solid D, and now I know why. You are this year's Houston Texans, stacked team hampered by terrible quarterbacking. It showed against the Cardinals, where you not only lost to them, but also granted revenge to your old failure in Blaine fucking Gabbert. Don't worry though, you'll post some garbage on social media about hashtag Saxonville while your team's water duct explodes like Helm's Deep come playoff time. Have fun, Jags. Arizona, bad news. You're in the wrong conference this year. It's time for the epic battle of the bandwagons, boasting teams that have emerged as contenders after being dismissed as mediocre. Turns out the biggest key here was a missing piece for the Saints. No Marshawn Lattimore. Who knew that losing one of your biggest pieces on a re-emerging D would hurt you? The Rams brought themselves back after being smothered last week and ended the Saints' impressive winning streak. Don't worry, New Orleans, you can always feel good about Alabama having their spirits crushed in the Iron Bowl. Good consolation, right? What a great game, right? What a catch by AB, you say? Well, allow me to piss on your parade. This is yet another game where the Steelers play down to their competition and turn this into a much closer match than it should have been. The secondary was absolutely putrid, and the only reason why Pittsburgh won was because the Packers suck and Mike McCarthy couldn't manage a game without Aaron Rodgers to hold his hand. This looks like a team that is going to be absolutely obliterated by New England in the playoffs yet again. Escaping games like this only delays the inevitable. What happens when the luck runs out? You can't rely on high-end talent bailing you out forever. I will admit that was a hell of a catch, though. I think it says something when the best passer on a team is the punter and they still win the game. In what seems to be the standard operating procedure for the Ravens, they claimed victory by sheer defensive will. Turns out the devolved game plan of chuck the ball to DeAndre Hopkins and pray he makes a catch isn't a good way to win football games. A swift blow to the nads after a promising start continues for the Texans. I miss Deshaun Watson. We come once again to our lol cow of the week. Drew Kaiser, punter extraordinaire for the Chargers. After an injury to their starting kicker, Kaiser was thrust into duty and prepared for a field goal try. The guy completely missed the kicking. I'm mostly putting this here for 3 simple words. Fuck you, Spanos. You deserve nothing good in this world. And fuck the rest of the AFC, too.
Oh, we have a fight on the other side. Look at this. After Crabtree, helmet's being thrown. Talib grabbed it off. Referee is down, and look at holding on to his ribs. We have another one right here.
Look at this.
Oh, and a swing right there.
This is crazy because now you're going to get ejected from the game. I mean, this is just selfish.